the fifth Sunday of Lent. Next Sunday is, believe it or not, Palm Sunday already. The gospel today that story is only in John's gospel. I want to point out several things. One is it takes place for John in a very important place. It seems like a geographical accidental, but it really is in the temple area. And in the very first public activity of Jesus, in chapter 2 of John's Gospel, after the wedding feast at Cana, right after it, in the same chapter, Jesus goes into the temple and starts throwing things around and driving out activities that were not appropriate to the temple at that time. That happens at the beginning of John's Gospel, whereas in the synoptics, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, it happens later. Why? Because one of the aspects of John's Gospel is that Jesus is the temple. It doesn't replace God, but replaces a sense of where is God? And what does God do? And what do we have to do in relationship with God? And what position are we best when we are available to this God? Okay, so in the temple area, the representatives of the temple law, the Pharisees and the scribes, to test Jesus, to provoke him, bring a woman who has been caught in adultery. Now, there are many questions in this gospel. What is Jesus writing with his finger in the dirt? And why didn't they bring the man who was an accomplice in this act of adultery, obviously? They bring the woman because she is the generator of the continuation of the people of God. She is the producer, the giver of life. She represents the outcasts. And Jesus, in the synoptics and in John's Gospel, why does Jesus deal with women? The woman at the well, for instance, in the synoptics. Why does he deal with women who are sinners or outside the community? Because Jesus came to extend the temple area of not just being there, it's here. And everybody is in that temple. And there is no one to be excluded. The new temple has an embrace rather than a portal, more the door or a few people get in kind of thing. So he deals with those who are most outside the community. See, sin in the time of Jesus was communal. Everything was communal. And she had broken the ritual and the status of the life-giving of God. So she had stepped outside what is communal. And the Pharisees and the scribes are hoping that Jesus conformed to their law to allow stones to be thrown at her to her death. And Jesus says, no, that's not the way to treat the community, to do away with a life-giving person in the community. So they walk away because they hear Jesus say, those who are without sin, they can cast the first stone. There's lots of talk about why did the scribes and Pharisees let go of their pursuit, let go of their case. They have the evidence. And Jesus embraces her. And in embracing her, offers the embrace to the scribes and Pharisees. But they walk away from that embrace. And Jesus says to her, there's no one here to accuse you, I guess. And she said, no, there's nobody. Neither do I. I embrace you. Now you go to be a life-giving, more than biological, a life-giving person in the community. Now, in the Catholic Church, every sacrament is a mission experience, so that a person going to the church asking for forgiveness is missioned to go back and be a life-giving source in the community. It's not just a me and Jesus. None of the sacraments are me and Jesus. Even people who get married, it's not me and you only, but we are missioned. Everyone is missioned by the sacraments. So he says to her, go. Go where? Go into the community with my embrace of you, not the legalistic, ritualistic exclusion of you. And so Jesus says, I know that you have been throwing stones at yourself, which is a great way to pray as we ponder Lent. What stones do we throw at ourselves of accusation, which can take us away from our sense of mission? I can't be in mission. I can't be a revelation. I can't be a life-giving source in the community until I really feel that I'm forgiven. No, we don't necessarily feel we're forgiven. We celebrate a reality that is in Jesus. Whether we can accept it is another question. Whether we want to continue throwing stones and be preoccupied with our throwing stones at ourselves, which restricts us from being a life-giving agent in the community. That's to which Jesus sends this woman. Go and use your womanhood to be creative and relational and embracing as I am of you. Be a revelation in your personality, how I am to you with my personality and my mission. So in Lent, we maybe have to count the stones with which we throw at ourselves. Maybe give that up for Lent. No more stone throwing at myself, and probably I will then consequently be less a stone thrower at others. Accusation, but more freely embrace. Our Lenten prayer then is to receive forgiveness, mercy, healing, not just for myself, but that I might be more for you. Less preoccupied with stones in my hand, gashing myself, throwing them away, and not throwing them at you. That's mission. That's Lent.